Hi, I'm Alex Howard, and I'm here with Anna Dashinsky, Director of Psychology here at the Optimum Health Clinic. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
And in this video, we wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction and overview to the work we do in the psychology department here at the Optimum Health Clinic. Now, I should just say at this point, there's a lot that we could say about this, and this video really is designed as a bit of an introduction where we'll reference at a few points other videos and other resources which are here on the website, which will probably be a great way to find out more about what it is that we do.
Yeah.
Maybe as a starting point, Anna, obviously I know that we created this department out of our own experiences of ME and chronic fatigue, and obviously people can watch those videos underneath our bios here on the website, but maybe just talk a little bit about why that is important, why that's kind of at the heart of the approach that we've created.
I guess, I know from your background and mine, our recovery was a process really of piecing together what worked. There wasn't a lot of support out there. This was a while ago, about 10 years that we've both been fully recovered by this point. And essentially, it was a bit of a lottery as to what worked, what didn't work, and a really challenging process. I think we're very passionate as a team that we want the process to be much easier. We know it can be. We know there are commonalities, there are common points. We have seen enough to help people navigate this, and we're very passionate about integrating the best of what's there and giving people one point where they can come and hopefully get the support and the tools that they need to navigate their own process.
Yeah, I guess it's really, with both the psychology department and the organisation as a whole, it was to create what we wish had existed.
Exactly.
And, obviously a lot of the things that we're doing here in the psychology department, they didn't exist when we had our own journey. It was very primitive times in terms of a lot of these approaches. But, by bringing together all the different things that are out there, with the experience that we have, I think one of the great benefits is we can really help pinpoint for people whereabouts they are on their journey. We can offer and explain to them why other approaches they've tried may have worked or may not have worked, not got them the whole way, and what they need to move them forwards. It's probably worth saying at this point, for some people that are watching this, the idea that psychology can play a role when they've got very real physical things that are going on can be a little bit kind of off-putting or even a bit controversial. So what basically is the role of psychology in this kind of thing?
It's really worth demystifying that, because I think, it's not that we're saying it's all in your head or you're making it up. We are really clear, there's masses of scientific evidence to back it up, that actually if you're in any kind of chronic stress over any period of time, which for many people who have these kind of conditions has absolutely been the case. Sometimes you don't recognise the stresses while they're there, but for most people that's absolutely been what's going on. That chronic stress, as opposed to just short bursts of stress, which we're very much designed for, have a very detrimental impact on the body. If the body is subjected to stress over a long period of time, first of all it begins to normalise it. So rather than working as it normally does, a lot of the systems change the way they function. And there is lots of evidence that over a period of time it can impact pretty much every system of the body, and in fact can cause the kind of symptoms that a lot of people are experiencing. So what's going on in our minds and the way that we're responding to stress and the stresses around us can have a very direct, very real physical impact on our body. And
of course there's the stresses that cause what's happening, but there's also the stress of living with the kind of experience of a lot of people that we're working with.
Absolutely. That often sits on top of all of that, because the experience of then having these weird symptoms and not really understanding what's going on is massively stressful in itself, and often keeps that whole, or keeps the body in that state for a long period of time.
So that being a kind of very brief introduction to the role of psychology, obviously there's a lot more information in different parts of the website. What do we do about it? What are some of the ways that we work with this?
I think there's three key pieces really. And a lot of tools and approaches out there will deal with maybe one of these, but we haven't seen anything that really deals with all of this, and we know it's very important. The first stage is really to understand what's going on and to help to put the body back into what we call a healing state. So to bring it out of that detrimental chronic stress state.
Or the maladaptive stress response.
Exactly. And to bring it into a state where it can support itself to heal, essentially. That's massively important as a starting point. The second piece, though, is that for many people, there are reasons why they got to that point, and we talk about the subtypes. I think there's another video on that as well, which is really talking about the tendencies or predispositions that we have that can cause or certainly not help us in getting to that point. And really, if we don't resolve the underlying reasons why we got to that point in the first place, it's a bit like pulling a weed but not pulling the root up.
Yeah.
So we find that those issues can come back.
And these subtypes being things like the achiever type, the anxiety type, the helper type,
Yeah.
and the trauma type. And as you say, these are often the things which can be factors in causing us to get sick in the first place.
Exactly.
But they can also be factors that prevent us from getting well. So, for
Yeah.
example, if we've got an achiever pattern, each time we try a new treatment, we're trying to do it to the nth degree, we're pushing ourselves too
Sure.
hard, and we're almost approaching recovery the same way we cause ourselves to get sick in the first
Yeah.
place. And so dealing with these patterns can also be important.
Yeah, dealing with the underlying roots, if you like, of what's going on is very important in not just kind of sorting out and getting body into a healing state temporarily, but really building a strong foundation for healing on over a long period of time. And then the third piece is then navigating that process of recovery, because there are blips and ups and downs that happen, and understanding how to deal with those, how to manage, literally how to navigate that is massively important as well.
Okay, fantastic. So that being kind of what we do about it, you know, and I guess also we should just say within that really our approach as well has been to study all the other approaches that are out there, to pull them together into kind of the best of all these different things.
Yeah.
So everything from things like the lightning process to reverse therapy to nickel therapy to CBT to psychotherapy to EFT, and to really put together an approach which is really the integration of the best of what works. But also in terms of what's unique about the Optimal Health Clinic approach, obviously that's part of it.
Yes.
Well, what else would you say?
Definitely that's part of it. If I think quite a lot of what's out there will fit a patient into a process and therefore it may not work or may partially work. We tend to find that you really need to be able to see the whole picture, understand exactly where that patient fits, and understand exactly what it is that they need at that point of their process and recovery in order to get to that next step.
Yeah.
And that's massively important. I suppose also that comes from a lot of experience. We've been doing this for many years and are really specialist in understanding that and really seeing that. We have a very core team. We work together very closely and strongly. So that level of experience is I think unique to us as well. Yeah,
well I think, you know, our thing has really been to develop the very best protocols based on studying and integrating all these different approaches and the tens of thousands of hours of experience that the psychology department alone has. And then to have the very best support materials for people through various CD programs. We have workbooks, conference calls, Secrets to Recovery, the community website, all of those kinds of things. And to work with the very best practitioners and to really be incredibly demanding in terms of choosing the very best people out there. But ultimately, as we're kind of saying, it's also treating each person as an individual, and it's really recognizing that, you know, everyone is different. So it's not a case of just slotting someone into a process. It's really, with all of this experience, how do we work with each person with their own experience of what's happening?
Absolutely.
And I guess that's really where the next step is, once you've had a chance to get an information pack and watch a few bits on the website, is to have a free 15-minute chat where you can talk to either Anna or one of her team to find out specifically how all of this relates to your situation. Because, you know, it's one thing to get the information, but to understand what it actually means for where you are in your own journey to recovery and what the next steps are likely to be. You can really call upon our experience and then see how we might be able to help you to really move forwards. So thanks, Anna. Thanks for watching, and we'd love you to have a 15-minute chat and to get your questions answered.